Medicine Wheel, Creating Sacred Space with Renata Moore.
A medicine wheel is a Native American traditional healing ceremony. It dates back at least 25,000 years. In a ceremony, Native Americans view it as a sacred space, a vision quest. The Anishinaabe have a very beautiful saying about ceremony. In my song, you hear my soul spirit. In my dance, see its rhythm. In my ceremony, feel its depth. Why do we go into medicine wheels? We do this not only to create a ceremony around balancing the inner with the outer worlds, but also to help balance the 4 sub-personalities that make up our personality. These sub-personalities include the inner spirit, the inner nurturer, the inner child, and the inner warrior. Going into the medicine wheel allows you to bring an awareness about your sub-personalities to consciousness, an awareness about any dysfunction in the medicine wheel. Using meditation and going into the wheel's dysfunctions, you can discover and deal with any issue that is being held as a dysfunction and reach an awareness of these issues. Contact can be made with specific issues that are out of balance. The inner spirit is on the east side of the medicine wheel. It represents fire and light. The east represents the sunrise, and in that hope and aspirations. The inner spirit allows you to get connected with the Great Spirit, all that is, allowing interaction with this subpersonality allows enlightenment to come in. It helps you to understand how powerful spiritual beliefs and practices are. The inner spirit is a space in which allows you to meditate, to pray, to absolutely develop a spiritual life if that's what you choose to do. You can connect with one of your guides or a spiritual teacher. The natives believed that going out in nature was connecting with your inner spirit, taking a walk, connecting with the earth, the trees, the plants, the animals. This is a way in which they gave real meaning to their lives. This in itself was a ceremony. Allowing time in nature is extremely important. Edgar Cayce taught that everyone should spend at least a half an hour a day outside, connecting with the earth, the sun, even the full moon is very important because it can also give you an energy that isn't available every evening. Allowing your beingness to connect with nature is very important. As when indigenous people first came onto the planet, most of their time was spent directly related with nature. And now, statistically, it is thought that we spend less than 10% of our time in nature. It probably is much less. Do you spend 2.4 hours a day communicating with nature and enjoying the natural life that abounds outside of our homes, our offices and schools, our cars? Also, the inner spirit focuses on a different avenue of creativity, sexual energy, dance, music, connecting deeply with yourself and others is being in the inner spirit subpersonality. This is very important. Inner spirit is for a creative nature to be expressed in physical form. When the inner spirit is out of balance, little attention is paid to spiritual practices. Very little time is spent in nature or connecting with spirit or connecting with the Creator. This often leads to feelings of being hopeless, of being depressed, uninspired to do what it is you really want to do in life, because you never quite get in touch with the real magic of being alive. When the inner spirit is balanced and healthy, you are very connected with being a part of the all and being able then to be very grateful about being alive. Spirit in form. As you move to the south of the medicine wheel, because in the medicine wheel you always move clockwise. So from the inner spirit, you move south to the inner nurture. The south point on the wheel represents contact with the earth, the physical nature. It is a point that we have a connection for the physical mother of our body, the earth. Our spiritual form comes from Creator, and our physical form comes from the physical mother, the earth. This is a very good space, this inner nurture, in which to ground the physical body. You can use light or musical vibration to ground. Native peoples often use drumming and flute playing to help ground their physical form, staying present in the moment. The inner nurture also provides a space in the personality to receive nurturing and to provide nurturing for your emotional body, the inner child. Receiving security, allowing yourself to get shelter, clothing, receiving food into the form of your body, all takes place, and its perceptions of importance are kept in the inner nurture's realm. It is important when going into the inner nurture to thank the earth for the gift of life that it gives us. If your inner nurture is out of balance, experiencing a dysfunctional state of being, a lot of confusion can be in your life. If you're experiencing anger, if you're feeling betrayed, those emotions are shared with the inner nurture's realm. And it's important to take responsibility for addressing those issues without feeling guilty about having those issues. This is an important point with dealing with the inner nurturer. In one of the sessions I taught the medicine wheel, after I led the meditation, one of the students told me that their inner nurturer was very demanding and very, very critical. And this person was very surprised that there was no nurturing for them. And what they had discovered was an extremely dysfunctional inner nurturer that had formed a shadow personality. This is called the inner critic. The inner critic is not inside the medicine wheel, but has a very distinct connection with the inner nurturer. And if the inner critic is allowed to run rampant, soon you find that you beat yourself up over everything, the big issues and the small ones. And this is very self-defeating behavior. Experiencing this kind of behavior tells you it is time to go into the medicine wheel and start working with the inner nurturer. That is the only way the inner critic can be addressed. As we move clockwise now from the south part of the wheel, we want to move up to the west. The inner child lives in the west side of the medicine wheel. This is the area of our emotions, the home to water, dreams, and also the shadow side of the personality. The shadow side of your personality is directly in contact with your inner child. This shadow side keeps the inner child from being totally balanced and in integrity. When the inner child is healthy, the inner child expresses emotional spontaneity, a sense of honesty, as we often observe in very young children. And the cliche that we often use is, out of the mouth of babes. What we're referring to is the emotional spontaneity and honesty that children bring in with them. And then as adults, we condition that emotional honesty to be eliminated because it is uncomfortable for us as adults to deal with. A balanced inner child is curious and loves to be playful and joyful. It is easy for that inner child to express pleasure. Your inner child cherishes the dreams and fantasies of the inner journeying that the emotional body takes. When the inner child is out of balance, as the emotional body grows and forms in the womb, and as an early developing child on the planet, oftentimes freedom of expression is extinguished. This makes your inner child feel very restless and agitated. These feelings lead to a lot of frustration. If these feelings are allowed to continue, it leads to boredom, which blocks the energy anatomy of the emotional body, so the development there is arrested. Addictions can be found in the emotional section of the medicine wheel. The inner child's addictions can be repressed anger. And what happens when this addiction comes out in adult form. We tend to drink too much. We smoke to repress the emotions coming up to be released. Eating sweets uncontrollably is another big red flag for an addictive emotional body. When you go into overindulgence, it keeps the uncomfortable emotions from coming up to consciousness so they can be dealt with. Supporting the inner child by doing the medicine wheel work allows more freedom and joy in that emotional body. It helps the feelings surface so that more happiness can be achieved. Self-respect and self-love are found here and need to be supported so that the inner child can mature and be an asset to the personality. As we move forward now, around clockwise to the north side of the medicine wheel, we enter the domain of the inner warrior. It represents the air and the mental body. This is the space where we take in information for learning, where we accept responsibility, and we learn how to organize our abilities to fulfill our purpose in our life. The inner warrior also assists us in paying bills and helping us organize and keep our home clean. The inner warrior also helps us choose foods that support a healthy body and mind. It also helps you to balance your checkbook. It organizes energy in all areas of work and mental activity. The inner warrior also acts as the inner guardian. It does stand up for what you need, and it does help your personality confront others. It can nurture and help your inner child feel safe. When the inner warrior goes out of balance, the personality can become workaholic. It can absolutely become domineering to other people and not allow other people to work at their own speed. This then causes the personality to become overbearing. Then, if the inner warrior tries to balance that too quickly, the shift can manifest into being very confused, maybe lazy. Procrastination can become an issue in the inner warrior's domain. The inner warrior has a lot to do with our personality feeling safe to express in the world. These are the 4 sub-personalities: the inner spirit, the inner nurturer, the inner child, and the inner warrior. As you work with the medicine wheel and go into meditation and work with it at that level of consciousness, you will support the sub-personalities in their healing and growth. Why is this important? Healthy sub-personalities assist in emotional balance and honesty, in physical endurance and health, in mental attitudes that form very conscious ways of living a spiritual life while in a human form. Healthy subpersonalities also support a feeling of unity in the heart and throughout physical form with your spiritual self. This allows you to move to a level of spiritual enlightenment you have not yet experienced. Taking action with the medicine wheel is important. Working with the medicine wheel, according to Native American traditions, is called balancing the personal shield. When you work with the 4 sub-personalities, you balance your personal shield. The Native Americans would actually build a medicine wheel in nature. It would be a circle, either made of stone, drawn in the sand, or represented in physical form by natural substance. They would mark off the sections of the wheel, and as they prayed and gave attention to the sub-personalities, they would move clockwise through the wheel. Allowing your work in the medicine wheel to go deeper would be taking action in meditation. And following the meditation for the medicine wheel, you will be guided through each section so you may ask questions and receive answers in this wheel. It is important to ask questions and then be still for a moment so you may hear the answers. To make this meditation real and meaningful, make sure when you enter the sub-personality's domain, you ask them what it is you want to know. You listen and follow to the best of your ability what is going on while you're in the wheel. If you cannot tell them when you will be back to do more work, then just be honest and tell them you will be back when you can. In the medicine wheel, you will receive a lot of information and you will receive a lot of energy. At each point in the wheel, when we enter the next domain, we will ask the beingness there, how are you? Please give me guidance to my questions. What messages do you have for me? And that way you establish a pattern that then will give you a lot of information. Medicine wheel meditation is an excellent way to take action in balancing your personal shield. Enjoy the meditation on side B.
That is the end of side.